Hello everyone, this is the mining geologist and I'm back again with another very exciting and very informative tutorial. Before we actually dive into the subject of today's tutorial, I would like to thank today's sponsor, which is, or let me say, which are the subscribers of this channel. So thank you everyone for being a subscriber, for liking my videos, and for taking the time to check what is in the description, what I have to offer, whether they are my trainings or my master classes or even my Patreon page. So if you are new to this channel and you are interested in these kind of topics which are related to mining engineering, geology, and geoscience in general, make sure to subscribe and follow me in my other social networks like LinkedIn and Facebook to be notified whenever I post something new. Now let's dive into this tutorial. As you can see, we are looking at Micromine again, and it is the version 2022. It's basically the latest version of Micromine currently. I don't know when are you actually watching this video. This version was released earlier this month, and I've been using it for a while now, and I'm really amazed by the features that they've implemented in this version of the software. And I've been using Micromine for some years now, and I really like this software because they keep on adding new features every single year, and the software is getting better and better. And I believe in the upcoming days and weeks, I will share with you all the different features that they've added to the software and walk you through how to use it. So if you're interested, make sure to turn on the notification to get notified whenever I post something new. So you are looking at a pit design now, and I know that most of you are actually into geology and mining engineering, but this is not going to be a pit design tutorial. And as the title suggests, it's gonna be a road design tutorial, but it is actually related to mining engineering because imagine with me that we have a pit right here, and how are we going to access that? Because we all know that most of the pits are going to be in remote areas, and we need some roads in order to access these remote areas. So uh, I don't know if you know that Micromine actually have a tool for road design, and it is really good one and very efficient and generates some really good results. Even that I'm not actually a road designer, but this tool makes things really easy to do. So I'm going to be walking you through how to use this tool, and I'm going to show you two methods. So it's up to you to use one of them based on your needs. So the first thing and what we need as a data set is basically a topography and a DDM like the one we have in here. And the second thing that we need is actually what we call the center line or the road center. So basically this is the center of the road. Okay. Now here is what some of Micromine users do. They basically have the center line. So we want to trace a road right here. And what they do is that they drop this onto the topography using the design and then drape. So we are going to select the wireframe. So what we've done here is that we've assigned the elevation from the DDM that we have in here to the string, and now it is actually sitting on the topography perfectly. Okay, so then the next thing is we just let me go and save this one. So basically this is the center line, the road center, which is in this exact string here. Then the second step is to go to mining, and then you can see that inside mine design we have a tool for road design. We click on that one, and then in the input, like I've mentioned before, we need a DDM. So we are going to use this DDM, and we need the center line, so we are going to use this road center. And then in the design parameters, we have basically the road profile. So if your road is symmetric, you check this box. If it's not, you can use different, slopes and widths from both of the sides of the center line. In our case, we are going to keep this basic, and we are going to use a symmetric profile. And the slope units, it could be in degrees or in percent or in gradient. You can check whatever you want. So in our case, it's going to be a zero slope. So it could be anything we want. So we are going to keep that by default as degrees. And then we have the batters in here. So basically, if we are going to create a road in here, in some areas we are going to do some cutting, and in some others we are going to do some fillings. So you are going to choose the slopes for both of these areas. So in our case, we have chosen 45 degrees and 45 degrees for the fill. But in your case, these are not going to be just arbitrary numbers, so you need to take a look at the different materials in there and do some slope stability analysis and see what is the optimal slope angle to use for either cutting or filling cut or fill materials. And then what we need to do is, if we are actually interested in generating a report with all the different tonnage of the cut and fill material, we can specify a density and a swell and compaction factor in here. So these are going to be used later on to generate a report if we want so. In the output, we have the final surface, which is basically this one. I'm going to call this 1. And then I'm going to auto load that. So automatically when the design is finished, it's going to auto load that in 3D. We can also generate some solids for the cut and fill areas, and we're not interested in that for the simplicity of this tutorial. And we can also generate the road design strings. We get the left and right strings, and these could be very useful if you want to just highlight the road with some strings. And let's just use that. And now you'll notice that we will have a problem, because I'll tell you in a moment why we are going to get this error. So let's go and run this. You can see that we have an error in here, and you can see that we have a bunch of points that we need to check. So what we can do is we can select this one and go to design, and then go to show sequence, and let me go and hide this. So this is basically the different points, and this is the sequence. See these numbers that we had errors in them. So basically most of them are going to be points that are so close to each other like this. If you want to go, point by point, and you just want this central line to be exactly this way, you can go and delete some of these points manually. And I don't really advise you to do that. So one way to solve this is, let's go and simplify this string by deleting some points using the simplify string option here inside the design tools. And then we can go and save this and try to do that again. So let's go to mining and choose road design and run that again. And you can see now it's going probably to work, and it will take some time based on the center line profile, how many points in there, how complex it is, and the topography also, how complex is the wireframe, and so on. But in our case, it's really simple, and you can see that we were able to generate a road really with just a couple of clicks. But one thing to notice here, and I myself don't like designing the road this way, but I really would like to I like to design it in a different way that we will see in a moment. But most of Micromine users do this exact thing. But what is the problem with this method is that in some topographies, you will notice since the center line was dropped on the topography, so in some areas you will find some bumps. The road goes up and down, up and down. It's not really practical. We don't design roads that way in real life, so we need a constant slope. Like for example, we want an 8% slope, or let's say a 10% slope as a maximum or whatever. So that's the same way we do inside the ramps inside the pit. So the way to do that is, let me just go and show you this string here. Let's say that I want to do another design in here. So basically in this string I've done it in a way that we have a 10%, I believe, or 15% slope in here, and then in these flat areas we have like a 5%. So we have some constant slopes. But how do we actually digitize a string with these kind of slopes that 5% slope or 15% or whatever we want? Let me show you how to do that. So let me go and hide these probably, and let's go to file. I mean, like, go and create a new string, and this is basically going to be a test string. So let me go here, go to the top view, and let's go to the design tools, and you will see that we have a gradient here. If it's activated, so we can go and define a gradient. So it could be in degrees or in percent. So let's say that we want a 15 degrees slope, okay? And let's go and start digitizing. So let's say that this is basically going to be the first or the starting point of our design. So we are going to turn on snap. We are going to snap to this location, and then we are going to turn off the snap. And now what we are going to do is, or maybe what the software is going to do is, now let's say that we are going to digitize the next point here. The software in the background actually calculates the distance, and now is assigning an elevation to this next point in a way that it is going to make this line or this segment makes a 15 degrees slope. So this is all happening in the background. So let me go and digitize a couple of lines in here. And if you look at the elevation in here, you will notice that it is increasing, and it is increasing based on the distance that I'm choosing. And let's stop here, for example, and if you look at this, you will notice that automatically we're going up with a 15 degrees slope. So what we can do with this method is we are going to digitize let's say a center line, but this time without dropping it on the topography. We are going to assign a constant slope, or maybe we can change slopes whatever we want. Like I said, we started with 20 degrees in here because it's very steep in here, and maybe we can use like a 5 degrees in here to make this road design. So let me go and remove this one, and I don't want to save that. That was just to show you how to uh, make a constant slope string, and this is exactly what I've done with this one here. And then what we can do is we go to mining, road design, and go to input, and we are going to choose the same topography, but this time we are going to choose the road design, I mean like the road center tool, and we're going to keep everything the same way, but this is going to be topography number 2, and this is going to be the road design number 2. And let's go and run that. Now this method usually doesn't create errors because we don't have like a lot of points near to each others, and the slope is constant, so the software is not going to have hard time creating the wireframes, and it's going to work most of the time. And you can see now that we have like a constant slope and like a regular shape of the road. And I believe this is the right way to create or to design roads. And let me go and hide this one. And you can see that we have some areas in which we have the uh, cut here, and we have some fill in here in order to have that constant slope. So this really depends on the criterias that you want to create. And if it's a flat area and or nearly flat, it doesn't matter if you just drop that onto the topography and do the design the way you want, or with the first method. But usually, in most of the time, in such a locations that we have like some steep slopes and so on, we need to keep the slope of the center line constant, or we choose the right slope for that. So we design the road in the best way. So I believe that's it for this tutorial. If you guys liked it, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and see you in another video.